Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Tune Quest. Today we're looking at Amber by Steve Lacy. Shout out to Justin for requesting this one. So we're going to break this tutorial into kind of like two parts. In the first part, we're going to look at the chords and the chord progression and how to vibe on it. And then in the second part, we're going to add the melody on top. So let's jump straight into it. The first chord in the progression is this here. Now it says C sharp 9 sus 4, but don't worry too much about that. There's an easier way to get this chord, right? You could just copy, you could just see what notes I'm playing and do that. But I can tell you like how to find these rich chords. Right, in the left hand you've got a C sharp, right? And all we're doing in the right hand is going down a whole step from that C sharp to find B, and then creating a major chord from that. And you get this nice, lush, open chord, right? Now, for the chord in this song, we've got that B major just in its second inversion, meaning that the fifth is on the bottom. Same notes, right? And then on top of that C sharp, you get this nice, lush chord, right? So that's the first chord in this progression. So I'm going to show you the chords first, and then I'll show you like the vibe, the rhythm of the chords, right? So that's the first chord, and then the next chord is this here. Now the left hand actually stays on that C sharp, but the right hand goes to a G diminished 7, right? So G diminished, and then you add that F for the 7. Now with diminished, it's like a repeating pattern, right? You just get a minor third, a minor third, it's a repeating pattern of minor thirds, right? So just start that on the G sharp, and then on top of the C sharp, what you get here is actually a C dominant chord, right? Because if I was to lower that D to a C sharp there, notice that? We just get a C sharp dominant, normal, right? But what we're doing by playing this D instead, we're actually playing a flat 9. As you can see there, it says flat 9. The reason is because if we were to raise it up a half step and play this D sharp, what we get is the 9th extension. That's the 9th extension. To lower it, we get a flat 9, and that gives you that nice lush sound. So that's what we got in this progression. And then the next chord is this. So left hand, we're going up to that F sharp. And for the right hand, we're keeping the thumb in position and the pinky in position. All we're doing is lowering the two middle fingers a half step each. And so you get this F sharp major 9 chord, right? And then the last chord in this progression is this here. So it's a B7. A B dominant, right? So in the left hand we've got a B, the root. In the right hand we've got A and then D sharp. A being the 7, D sharp being the 3rd. Right, so first chord, second chord, third chord, fourth chord. Right, so that is the progression. Now, I think more importantly is actually the rhythm of this progression, the vibe that is created, right? So, this is what it is. Okay, so what's going on here? The first thing to note is that at the start we have this nice, just play that chord just 4 times, nice and even, right? And start together, right? So you strike these left hand and right hand together at the start, and then you play 4 times. In between the 3rd and the 4th, you play the left hand again, like this. 1, 2, 3, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just as you strike the 4, like immediately after, go to that next chord, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's slightly anticipated. It's just before the bar. It's on the and of 4, right? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right, so notice that. And then on the next chord, it's the same, just a nice and steady kind of rhythm in the right hand. And what we're doing in the left hand, you're kind of like striking the chord at the same time at the start, and then you're you're kind of bouncing between them like this, so you can get used to that. It's kind of like the seesawing effect, right? With the first note you strike together, and then seesaw, and then again with the next chord, bring them together at the start of the bar. Seesaw, next. Seesaw. Right, so anticipated. Now this F sharp major chord is actually on the bar, right? And then the B dominant is anticipated, right? Notice how it's just slightly, you can feel that, right? It's like whoa, whoa, whoa. It just gives this nice syncopation to the groove, right? And it adds something really special, right? So together. So that is the chord progression, and hopefully you can crack that rhythm. And that's really good if you do, because that'll give you a really good sense of how to like syncopate a chord progression and to add some real rhythmic intrigue, right? By playing the next chord on the 4, just to anticipate that next chord. Okay, so and then there's one little chord change. So that progression goes for like 3 times, and then what we have is this thing here. Right, so just 3 extra chords, right? That chord, and that chord, before it goes back. Right, so what is the first one? The first one is actually, it's an A sharp minor 7. So you get that A sharp root, and then you get G sharp and C sharp, like this. And then the left hand goes down to an A, and the right hand plays a G augmented, right? So simply make a G major triad and raise that 5th. The 5th being the D. Raise that up a half step and you get that augmented. And over the A, you get this gnarly ass chord. What even is that? That's crazy. But again, there's easier ways to think about it. That says some really fancy B7 sharp 5 over A, like whatever the heck that means. I think about this as you've got an A in the left hand, and then you go down a whole step, and there you create this augmented shape, right? And create that in the right hand, and you get this real gnarly ass chord. And now the next chord is again a half step away. Literally, left hand goes down a half step here, right hand lowers the thumb there. You get a G sharp minor 7. So again, and then back. So that is pretty much the chord progression. There's one extra little thing that happens later in the song. I'll quickly show you that, where it does this thing, and then it goes here. Okay. So that's just like one thing that happens later in the song. So again, that's such a crazy, I mean, what even does that say? G sharp minor 7, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter, right? In the right hand, we've got a G sharp minor 7 chord over an F. And then that lowers down to this D sharp minor 7. That's like later on in the song. If you listen to it, you probably know the part I'm talking about. Okay, now that is the chord progression. Those are the chords. Now let's add the melody on top of that, right? Now, it's quite simple. You can mostly keep the same shapes in your hands, and we're just kind of catching the melody with the pinky. You'll see what I mean here, right? So, firstly, to differentiate between playing this just piano groove and playing the melody, what I like to do is like go up an octave. So you can really let the high notes speak a kind of melody, right? So this is how it, that start is mostly the same, and then we kind of go like this. So the melody is So, pinky's catching that. And then the second time around, that's the same. And then it goes up to here. First part repeats again. And then we do this progression. And the melody goes like this. Right, so right? And then it repeats that. Notice as well in the left hand, sometimes I'm like adding an octave. It just adds a little bit of something to it. So instead of just like playing one note, I'm adding an octave, right? So with the whole melody, something like this, yeah? Sorry, that wasn't right. I messed up there, but you get the idea. That repeats. Right, so that is that section. And a bit later in the song as well, it goes like this. Right, that's where that is. And then that repeats. And then jump back to the vibe. You could also do the melody here if you wanted to. Haha. Okay, so that is Amber by Steve Lacy. I really hope that this video was helpful to you and that you learned something. That's the end of this tutorial. Please let me know your thoughts below. And thank you for requesting this one, Justin. It was pretty nice. It was a nice vibe. And if you wanted to like level up your keyboard playing or your piano playing, I have an online coaching service, so you can book a free call below to see if if you're interested in getting like an online coaching to level up your playing. And there is a free online community where I'm making a complete beginner's course as well, so you can check that out. I've started to release the modules. We've got module 1 and 2 up there already, so you can check those out. And yeah, that's about everything. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.